From Rome, I went to Florence. From Florence, I went somewhere else in Tuscany, Pisa.
Yeah.
From that, I went back to Florence. From Florence, I went to Nizza in France. From that, I went to Marsiglia, actually.
Hey everyone, don't forget to subscribe, like, share.
We're live. All right, good evening, ladies and gentlemen. So this evening, we are round two. This evening, we have Giuseppe Scarlato. Oh, how you doing?
Good.
Good, he's doing good. He's doing real good. Giuseppe's got an interesting story. He's made a long journey from Italia. Where are you from originally?
A long journey. All right. Originally, I'm from South Italy, southern Italy, Calabria. I was born and raised there. I start my career in the food industry years ago when I was 13 years old. That was my first job. I still remember I was in Rome and my dad has to travel up there and he has to sign my first contract with me and my mom. So I finished my school there. I start my first journey in this early career there. And I started traveling at the same time between Rome, Florence. Florence, it was my best experience. And I started to go, like a little bit all over Isola del Giglio, Portugal, somewhere else in Tuscany, back in Rome. I was in France for a while as well. And I came back in Rome. Rome was kind of like my headquarters, where my cousin was situated. And last time that I was in Rome, I don't know, I never forget, I had a dinner by myself. I went out for grab a sandwich, and I was looking at the Colosseum, and I go like, you know what? I think I want to go in USA. I want to go try and experience that. Out of the sudden, came up with this idea, and 2 months later, that's what I did.
So now, hold on. Let's back up. So okay, you're in Calabria.
Mm-hmm.
You decide to go to Rome originally.
Yep.
And you're cooking.
Mm-hmm.
And from Rome, you went.
From Rome, I went to Florence. From Florence, I went somewhere else in Tuscany, Pisa.
Yeah.
From that, I went back to Florence. From Florence, I went to Nizza in France. From there, I went to Marsiglia, actually.
Yeah.
So I was doing like a little back and forth.
But that's kind of normal for Europeans in a sense, right? They
Yeah,
travel in between the countries a lot.
Yeah, I feel it's something like I don't know, life doesn't get stressful as it is over here for sure.
Yeah.
It's way easier there to manage things. Yeah, depending on what you do as well, because you can get great salary in Italy, other stuff like that, but doing like a normal life, like a little bit over the minimum wage, free healthcare, and free school system and all that. Those are really you don't really feeling struggling with anything. So I was like over the minimum wage. Well, it was a lot for me. I was by myself, and I never forget. I used to live in this apartment in the middle of Florence with $500 a month, everything included. and that was a dream. But I can't even think about how much it can be right now after COVID and after all that.
What year was this when you're in Florence?
Oh, that was back in 2018, 2017.
2017-ish.
2017, 2018, 2019. Yes, because at the end of 2019, I traveled from Italy to here. So yeah, I was around in Europe until 2019. Yes.
And
So
then
that
from
was-
2019, you went out to. Okay, so hold on. So let's get back to the actual conversation piece, right? So with Roots, this is a great opening. So we're focused on where you came from originally, right? That was a good introduction. Where you're at now and where you're going. So that introduction of where you were and where you came from, your family. Can you describe in Calabria how it was growing up? What was the family dynamic? What was important?
Okay, so that's a good question. All right, so I can. Okay, so let me see that to say. I will try to do my best to describe how things are down there, but unfortunately, if you're not from there, it's really hard to understand. So life in Calabria is totally different. The most beautiful thing is the people don't rush at all down there.
Yeah.
It's a little bit all over Italy, not in the big city, but in those villages, they don't rush at all. They take their damn time. They start the shift at 8 to 1, transition from 1 to 5 p.m. Nothing happened because they need to take lunch, coffee, smoking a cigarette, walk by the beach, take a nap, and they go back to work from 5 to 8 or 5 to 10 if you're a restaurant owner. So it's pretty cool. I grew up in this small village. It's like around 10,000-ish peoples. My dad, he's been working in construction his whole life. He did a transition from military life to construction life a lot of years ago. My mom, she used to be home with us most of the time growing up, and now she's a manager of this non-convent. A convent, yeah. It's a convent, but where the only nun lives.
Yeah.
So that's what she does, and she's like 2 minutes away from their house. So I will say it's down the street. And so yeah, I grew up there with no stress. I remember growing up, we used to be like crazy kids. Can't forget how many times my dad has to drop his hammer and his belt and came to school, and we used to skip school a lot of times. We used to get trouble all the time, so with my cousins and my friends, and but I don't know. I think it's a common things that happen in your life growing up.
You're figuring things out.
Yeah, until you figure things out, and I was, I don't know, 12, 13 years old, and I was getting bored already. I go like, oh, this is, I was trying to do something more, but, village life, it's good from one part, but it's bad from the other one because there is not a lot of opportunity. So you need to move on. And I think sometimes, if I wake up and I think about what I did, I go like, oh, maybe I accelerate my steps too fast, but I don't regret about what I did. So I go like, you know what? I'm going in Rome. It was after school. It was a school break actually. It was June 10. I took the train. I didn't say anything to my parents. I called my cousin that he was up there. I said, "Hey, Jonathan, do you mind if I spend some time with you up there? I want to help you out in the restaurant." I go, "Yeah, come up here, but don't forget it. By September, you gotta go back. Because you gotta go back to school." So that was. I get on the train. I left my house. I didn't say anything to my parents. My parents, they were to my grandparents' house. So a few hours later, when they came home, it's a panic start. I go like, "Where is Giuseppe? Where is Giuseppe?" And no phone back on the day. So
Yeah.
I get to the Naples train station, and I got this cabin phone that they used to have. And freaking, I put like 50 cents. I made the phone call and said, "Hey, Mom, I'm here in Naples. I actually got stuck because it was a bad storm, rainstorm." And I go like, "But I'll be in Rome tomorrow." And I go, "Oh, you're crazy. You can't do that. We need to call the police. You need to go." Like, no, don't call anybody. So I don't know how they did, but I got trapped by the state police over there with a like missing kid. So they sent me back to the village, and literally like a week later, I did the same damn thing, but this time I told them, "Hey, let me go up there for a couple of weeks and I'll be back." So I never went back. I finished my school up there. And no, I signed up to the that was high school, yes. I signed up to the high school up there. And some reason, I started working and I was start getting busy with food industry life, and I dropped, and later on I got my diploma as a private student. And that's I start to live on my own in a big city. I had some struggle at the beginning. I'm not gonna lie. It was especially after a long day at work, came home. Remember I used to have my mom, my family. We used to eat all together, lunch and dinner. And I used to be by myself, and I go like, "Oh, that's the bad part, But I go like, okay. I mean, I start to figure things out when so you lose this thing, but at the same time you're able to do this. So I start to understand that at some point you cannot have everything in life. So I go like, all right, so I can work, I can get my things done, and I was independent at that age, and I go like, oh, anytime I want, I just take like 5-6 days off and I go visit my family. Train ride, it was pretty quick.
What year was this?
Oh, damn. That was, I'm 26, I was 12. So it was 14 years ago, 15 years ago. No, 2010, 2011.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was back then. Damn, that was a lot of years ago. So I started to do this thing, and growing up, making friends, making new connections, and one connection brought me to Florence, another connection brought me to Pisa, another connection brought me to Milano, but I wasn't there for too much also because I didn't like it. And I was in this connection that brought me to Milano. It brought me also in Nizza, it was a great experience, but different world, different life. Exactly, Monte Carlo, where all the VIP are. Like, you request a taxi over there, they show like fancy Aston Martin, Mercedes, super clean city. Really clean, but super, super expensive.
Yeah.
Or like 5-star restaurants.
How long are you here for? Remind the audience where you're at physically right now.
What do you mean?
Where are you right now in this time of your in this?
Oh, right now I am in East Longmeadow, Massachusetts.
No, not right now. In the story. So you were in Rome. Then you went back to.
Oh yeah, I was in Rome, and this chef brought me to Florence.
Yeah.
And in Florence, I meet other person. I meet chef that they were working with the cruise, so they were like big chef, really skilled and experienced.
So at this point,
People.
you're learning
Yeah.
a lot about how to cook food.
Yes,
And you're getting good at it.
Yes, at this point, I have. Well, I learned everything from scratch. I started dishwasher and doing dishwasher, clean the kitchen, and just making salad. And I was like doing a little step at a time to auto recognize which is the bad food, the good food, to know how to make the homemade pasta, how to make the homemade bread, pizza, everything. And I was lucky because when I start to understand those things, going back to visit my family in the village, I used to learn also the gold recipe from my grandmothers, from my dad and from my mom's side. So I start to mix things up and, just getting better and better every time. So I have learned things that I didn't like to keep going with, like this fancy dishes that they made, that's not my style. Because I like cook, I like quantity, not a lot, but I also like to be satisfied from what I do and from the customer service as well. So I also, I don't like even when we go eat at the restaurant with my wife and I go like, okay, yeah, this is a fancy restaurant, but we are also disappointed because what they do now, they trick you with the picture. They let you eat with your eyes, that's not a part of my culture. I like tastings. I like, simple but good.
Yeah.
And unfortunately, those things though, they never are recognized because what they do is they grab the simple thing and they say they review and they try to make like don't want to say bad words, but I'm not with them though. I'm not with them. Even Italian chef they does that.
Here in America or in Italy?
In Italy, in America, all over the world. It was a chef, I don't want to mention any name, but it was a famous chef actually, that he was trying to revisit the margherita pizza with sun-dried tomato and try to promote that. Thankfully, they didn't permit him. Also because it's the margherita pizza, it's like what's the name of it? I can't remember now at the top of my head. It just became like important in the culture and the history. I don't have the word right now, but it's there. If you compare margherita pizza and the Colosseum, I think they're on the same level with UNESCO. Oh my God, I can't remember.
We'll come back to it. So, okay. So throughout this time, you talked about the village lifestyle with your family, with your father and your mother and your grandparents. But you didn't talk much about your brother.
Oh yeah, I do have two brothers. I am the oldest. I have two brothers that I grew up with. Crazy heads, more than me, I will say. But like everybody makes mistakes growing up, and someone who understands earlier, someone takes a little bit more, and depends. But at the end of the day, what's that matter for me is when you find your route and you stick with it. I guess that's all that matters, I will say.
Hey everyone, don't forget to subscribe, like, share.